since y'all, y'all family members, and you know what I'm saying, like I used to do this as a kid. I don't know if y'all did, but like when you used to see like New Edition, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
like had an artist or something that you wanted to be when you grew up. What was y'all's, group or artist that y'all wanted to be, as kids whenever y'all grew up,
Yo, me personally, you know what I'm saying? Well, we did do the New Edition thing, you know what I'm saying? I always end up having to be Mike, you know what I'm saying? Which was befitting because I turned out to be the businessman anyway. So, so I was Mike
Right.
Bivens in that group right there. But then I was really Easy E before I met Easy E. I used to sing this shit. I knew it shit by heart back and forth. And also my other favorite was LL Cool J. I knew all that LL Cool J shit back and forth. So I was those artists like jumping up and down on my bed with my mother telling me to turn that shit off because it ain't music. That's back when hip hop was in its infant stages. You know what I'm saying? Like wasn't
Right.
even a teenager yet. So yeah, I was Easy E. I was LL Cool J. Man, I really knew everything on the radio. I knew the radio back and forth by heart. My brother used to be mad at me. My brother used to punch me and shit like, man, you singing the song wrong. I'd be like, nigga, I know all these songs. But yeah, music, man, I've always been into that. Of course, Michael Jackson. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
can't
Like,
can't forget the GOAT.
hey man, I was Michael Jackson. I was in fourth grade when Thriller came out. You feel me? So Thriller came out. I had my hair, you know what I'm saying, in the afro. So I put the grease in my shit, tucked it down, and, thought I was Michael Jackson. So we went through all the phases of music, man. Just like everybody else. We all come from the same cloth, really. Different places in life, but you know what I'm saying? Like we all had our favorites. We got the people that inspired us to be who we are today.
One of the first albums that I ever had was the Face of Death album. It was the very first album, if my stats are correct. The what went into making that, and I know that a lot of the times they say that your first album you put your heart and soul into because you're trying so hard to get it out there. Is that the case?
I mean, when we made Faces of Death, man, you gotta remember we was still in high school. So you know what I'm saying? I think our blood, sweat, and tears went into creeping on the come up and eternal and all the albums after that. That Faces of Death was our local album. When we first was getting acclimated with the studio, when we didn't know our way around the studio, like that was our test project. Our can we do an album? You know what I mean? Like this is our first stab at it. So we did that shit. We was still in high school, man, and in Cleveland, it did really, really well. You know what I mean? We was famous in Cleveland before we left Cleveland. We was really on the Cleveland hip hop scene. So
It
you know
made
what I
it all the
mean?
way to
Like
it made it all the way to Vancouver, and we didn't have the internet back then.
like over the years. And you know what? Back in like 1991, I believe it was, we took a trip to Canada. You know what I mean? We was still Bone Enterprise. We wasn't even Bone Thugs and Harmony, but we took a trip. Our manager at the time, his name was Kermit Henderson, and he drove us up there, and it was a talent show going on. We performed up there, way up there, so we had our CDs and shit. We had our T-shirts. We was fresh out the trunk with it back in the day. So
And
we
some
touched, we touched up there in Canada.
and somehow it ended up into my hands back in the day. That's the crazy part of all that. And I know you were just in Vancouver before COVID. You came with the Afro Man and I believe DPG. Uh,
Right.
you have a good Vancouver story before we shoot to these guys.
I mean, really, like, I never really explored the country, which I do want to get a chance to see it sometime. We drove through there one time, and it was just a lot of land, and a lot of land and a lot of land going from the East Coast to the West Coast. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
the
saying?
middle part of Canada's flat, and there's not much in the middle part of Canada other than Vancouver and Toronto on the East and the West Coast.
Yeah, so we drove through there, but yeah, man, I mean, I know that the shows we do there is always off the hook, and we get so much love out there. Like the shows be immaculate, but it be too goddamn cold for me
You
to be to
you
be
actually just
honest.
did a song too. You just did a song with Merkules, the Vancouver famous guy.
Yeah, yep, Merkules, man. I like Merkules. That boy got flavor. He got style. You know what I'm saying? Like I was watching him, I was getting hip to him, and I forgot how we hooked up. We hooked up over the internet, but yeah, we got a dope ass song with
It is a
Merkules out there.
it is a great song. It's a fucking awesome song. Go ahead,
It's a
B.
dope.
So speaking of great music, I gotta tell you, bruh, your son can sing his ass off. Excuse my language. Your son got it, bruh. Like that song, amazing, with you on it, bruh.
Right.
I'm like, yo, and like,
Hey,
how did you know? Like, when did you first know? Because I mean, I got a son. He's 4. Like, what age was he whenever he first blew your mind?
I mean, well, really, little Stevie, man, Steven Jr., you know, they don't come up with rap names and nothing. They just like, my name's Steven, nigga. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, he been blowing my mind all his life. You feel me? Like, I'm just proud papa, man. Like, I sit back and, cause I can't sing like that, you know what I mean? But he got it, he inherited from his mom's chops, you know what I'm saying? My mom sing, like, so that the harmonies is were always been around. You know what I'm saying? Like, even our Bone Thugs and harmonies, it's always been harmony. So, you know, as a little kid, you'll hear him in the back of the car, and like, who is that singing? Like, this little nigga can sing. What is going on with these notes he hitting? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I've been proud of him, man. Like, and he's really coming into his now. He got a couple songs out there, so y'all can follow him, man. Stephen House Jr. You know what I'm saying? Plain and simple, looking good. He got a couple new songs out, and he building it up.
For sure, we should have him on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all should want him on the show, man, because he got a lot. They got a lot going on. My other son, Stevan, and Jeremy, all the kids, man. I got a lot of stuff. I'm gonna fill y'all in on all of it, but they clothing line, I'm representing that. It's called Bad Threat. So I'm watching my kids build they dynasty now.
Oh, I might be wrong, but is it not a group of multiple bone sons?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know what? Each one of us got a group of kids that's all talented. So they intertwine with each other. Sometimes they seem like a group together. Sometimes they solo. Like it's a bunch of these offsprings that Bone Thugs and Harmony then planted this seed in this thing called music. You know what I'm saying? So our roots is deep, and they will be. And seeds will flourish very soon.
It's kind of like your career. You've been able to work with so many different people, even on a solo tip. Like you've done so many great songs over the years.
You're tuning into I Only Touch Greatness podcast, Vancouver's best show with Ryan Hayes.
Often imitated but never duplicated, I Only Touch Greatness podcast with Ryan Hayes. Looking for the most beers on tap, great steaks, great staff? Head over to the John B.
The John B. Pub, the best bar in town. Say Hayes sent you.
I will forever be from the street to the V, where I learn to stand tall on my own 2 feet. Vancouver, BC is a part of me. I'm from Van City, grew up in Vancouver. Way back when we was taking taxis, not Ubers. We was being young, living life to the fullest. Doing dumb things, thinking we was the coolest. Doing us, having fun on a day-to-day. All we thought about was partying and getting laid.